Good evening, happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to the return of the Crimson KB podcast, except this time I am not alone, baby. I am not alone. I am not. Khan is going to be joining me tonight, and hopefully we can maybe make this into something or whatnot here. So, let me get him up in here. First of all, let me hop over to here real quick. Alrighty. What's going on? Let me get the man up in here. Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir. Alrighty. Chat, can y'all hear Khan okay?
Do you hear me?
Do you hear him? Yes. Yes.
Okay,
good.
Foolish fool.
Yes, foolish fool. Foolish fool, Bakura. God, I missed that. I don't even.
Oh no!
I don't even know if he's still doing that.
Oh no! I was going the Francesco route from Phoenix Wright.
I was going the Matic route from Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged.
Oh yes,
Matic.
yes.
Matic.
Yeah, I haven't watched that in a while either.
I don't even know if he's still doing that.
The last time I saw him do it was the stuff prior to the Yami Yugi fight.
Right.
So the Eye of the Calcos or whatever.
Yeah. The Ori Calcamacos, whatever the hell, whatever.
The Calcamos, yes.
The Alchemacos. That's, or in my opinion, when the anime and manga went south. pretty much everything after Battle City, it just went south after that.
Because I mean, where could you go from there? Really?
I know, like Battle City was so freaking hype and all that. It was so hype. Plus, it was like closer to like the actual card game instead of whatever the hell they were doing in season 1.
True.
Making shit up on the fly and whatnot. So,
I mean, the whole Yu-Gi-Oh game as a whole is a make up as they go type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly was. I didn't actually know this. And this is not part of the. This is me and Khan just going off the fly here, guys and girls. I did not notice, because they've changed the card game and the rulings and everything else. There actually is like a set of rules that actually abide like by the OG rules and whatnot, and you can only use like certain card sets like up to a point, like only like 2 or 3 past Invasion of Chaos and whatnot, and then like they ignore the rest and you play by the OG rules. And I'm like, yeah, GOAT format. Good. Yeah, the GOAT format. And I'm like, see, to me, that's when the game was the most fun, because you just yeah,
because someone was trying to explain Pendulum Summon to me, and I'm like, I'm too drunk for this. I didn't even drink.
Oh my god, yeah. That's around the time that I tapped was the Pendulum Summoning stuff, because literally it came down to if 2 of the same Pendulum decks went against each other, basically whoever went first won the game. Basically, yeah, literally, like, summon everything in one turn, they stop you the next turn, and then you just die the next turn. Like, literally, it got ridiculous. It really did.
God.
Like, it really freaking did. So, it is Monday. Damn it. And, I've honestly been wanting to do something like this with Khan for a while, just because, for those that don't know, Khan and I go back hella far. Like, I want to say around, like, the 2012, 2013 time frame and whatnot. So Khan and I go back very far. So we're very familiar with each other. Funny story, we only started talking to each other over voice chat, and I want to say maybe only, like, 2 years ago.
Yeah, about there.
So it took us a while to, I guess, garner up the courage to actually speak to each other on voice and not text, so who knows. But see, it shows right there. Yeah, you can maintain a friendship just over text. Damn it.
That's right.
Damn it.
It's 2022. You can get friends anywhere.
That's right. That's right. You sure can. So this is going to be fun, and we have some topics picked out, and we're going to, just chit-chat back and forth about them, weigh in our opinions and whatnot. Before we do get going, though, we are just going to briefly touch on this particular subject, and that is the Amouranth situation. For those uninformed, yes, big oof situation there. For those uninformed, she came out the other night saying that all this time, it turns out her husband was in control of the accounts and all the money that got raked in. And it was a very abusive situation. And there were things going along the lines of like threats to kill animals and threats to throw money away and shit like that. And she broke down on stream. And apparently friends of her have called police for welfare checks. That's about all I know, because there honestly has not been a lot of information brought up about it. But I think we can all agree, and I know Khan can agree, abuse is never a funny subject. It should never be treated as a funny subject at all.
No, not at all. And like, as far as I've heard, like even the abuse towards animals thing, allegedly, and loosest quotation marks ever, it was him trying to see if she was paying attention to what he was talking about.
Good.
Thing is, guys, never do that shit. Even in just passing, never do that shit.
Like,
that is
gross.
gross.
Yeah, like even just even the threat of testing the waters with animal abuse, it's like, wow, that's the first sign of a psychopath, you freak.
Very much so.
Wow. And then and also in regards to this situation, don't, and I say this with all professionalism, don't be like Keemstar.
No, please don't.
I mean,
Oh my god.
what an ass clown. I mean, really. So,
But there again too, people are in that camp where it's like, well, she's in that industry, she shouldn't be like raising up the Sims so then she can raise money. It's
yeah.
like, that's not the point.
Yeah, and even then it's like, okay, yes, if you honestly have the mindset of, well, if I send a girl enough money, maybe she'll like go on a date with me or like me, and it's like, bro, that's, first of all, you're an idiot if you think that's the case with that kind of live streaming or whatnot. But, you know, because again, they're making the grown-ass decisions to send her money anyway. But Keemstar said, and I quote, clearly husband is abusing, she showed the text. But Amouranth herself has scammed so many guys online claiming she was single for years. These Twitch streamers don't care about their viewers. They all just use you and your low IQs to fill their pockets. Which it's like, bro, that's not even remotely the point.
Also, bro, that's you too.
Yeah, that's him too. That's him. So, in closing, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was good. I'll let you do the closing because I think we'll be in the same mind as it.
Sure. Oh, okay. Oh, you want me to? So yeah, in closing, abuse is not funny. We all hope that Amouranth does get the help she deserves as the story develops and whatnot, if more details develop and whatnot. But also in closing, any kind of time abuse comes up, always take it with a fraction of seriousness, bear an open mind, but don't ever treat a situation like that like one Mr. Keemstar, first of his name, has decided to treat this situation. Which, let's be honest, did he probably mean any of that? No, he just wanted to get clicks and put his name on the situation, more than likely. Probably. So, which leads us into our first topic of the night, and it is a heated topic that's been going on for the past couple of days, and that is the Bayonetta 3 situation here, and it has gotten interesting here. For a recap, Helena Taylor, the OG voice actress of Bayonetta for Bayonetta 1 and 2, auditioned for the role again in Bayonetta 3. They offered her $4,000. She reached out to Kamiya Hideki, who got his own Twitter account banned because he went on a banning spree on Twitter, and Twitter thought he was a bot and deleted him. And so that happened, and so she called basically for a boycott of the game. And the thing about this situation is boycotts are a funny thing because 9 times out of 10, they usually don't work.
No.
And that has been evidence here because pre-orders of the game have actually gone up about 45 to 50%. And and I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that while everybody sympathized with Miss Taylor, they did not agree that Jennifer Hale should have had the shade thrown at her that she did. And it was, a lot of people felt it was in the wrong for her to call on a boycott of the game itself.
Mm-hmm.
So in doing that, it has made a very big divide with the fan base. Some have called for boycotting, which again, boycotting, in my opinion, is a personal choice. And yeah, it's very much divided the fan base. And it's funny because the reason why I bring up the boycott or attempted boycott with Bayonetta 3, and this goes into territory we're familiar with on a personal level, is we've been at this place before with things specifically like World of Warcraft and Overwatch, two things you are very familiar with, Khan.
Yes, I am. Well, not anymore, thanks, Blizzard.
Yeah, not anymore because Blizzard screwed Khan out of his BNet account.
But yeah, well, just to go up with the increase of pre-order sales, like she literally just created a Streisand effect.
I think I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, she brought the attention. People are like, oh, what's going on here? And they're like, oh, hey, Bayonetta 3 is coming out. I better pre-order it. Not really knowing the situation, probably. And then those that know the situation, they probably are curious. Well, I now need to hear what Jennifer Hale's going to sound like versus Helena here.
Yes, and speaking of Miss Jennifer Hale, she actually did. A lot of people were wondering. A few people were actually, very, very, very few were actually like blaming her for the situation. But most people with a brain were not blaming her because it's not her fault. It's not her fault that they decided to go with Miss Hale over Miss Taylor regarding Bayonetta's voice in Bayonetta 3. And she actually said, and I quote on her Twitter, "With regard to Bayonetta 3, as a longtime member of the voice acting community, I support every actor's right to be paid well and to have advocated consistently for this for years. Anyone who knows me or has followed my career will know that I have great respect for my peers and that I am an advocate for all members of the community. I am under an NDA and am not at liberty to speak regarding this situation. My reputation speaks for itself. I sincerely ask that everyone keep in mind that this game has been created by an entire team of hardworking, dedicated people, and I hope everyone will keep an open mind about what they've created. Finally, I hope that everyone involved may resolve their differences in an amicable, and respectful way. With all love and respect to all, Jennifer Hale," which honestly, that's the best kind of response she could have given, especially given the fact that she is under an NDA, as stated.
Honestly, bless her heart for that statement.
Yes, indeed, bless her heart. And Jennifer Hale, I believe, is, I don't know, I can't remember off the top of my head, but I believe she is a part of the Voice Actors Union or something like that.
I believe so, yes.
I believe she is, yes. So for those that aren't aware of the shade that was thrown, basically Miss Taylor said that she wishes the voice actress well, but says she has no right to lay claim to the voice, basically, or has no right to sign merchandise because she created the voice. And that's where I had to disagree with Miss Taylor, because like the comparison I made was that'd be like if Mark Hamill complained about John DiMaggio voicing the Joker and signing like DVD copies of Under the Red Hood.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what to say about this situation because everyone can also agree there is a whole nother side of the story that is missing as well.
Oh, there is too. And there was a take I heard the other day where someone was talking about the $4,000 she was offered. And in that person's take, he didn't see the $4,000 as being a problem because according to him, and I'm not going to bring the person up just because like don't want unwanted attention if there
Correct.
is. His take was the $4,000 is fine for however, like, we don't know the storyline for the game, so we don't know how much of Bayonetta we're actually going to get in Bayonetta 3. So it could have been a a week. It could have been 4 days. We don't
Mhm.
know. But for someone like her, she also should have been taking on other jobs if she was not contracted to just solely be working on Bayonetta 3. Like
I,
if you were to
mm,
if you were like to use Jennifer as our example again, if you were to look at her IMDb, you will see quite the big discrepancy between the two actresses in their roles.
mm,
Which with Helena, you see maybe two or three roles within like a 5 year difference, whereas with Jennifer, we see her in 6 or 7 roles in a year.
that's very true. It is very true, and nothing against Miss Taylor's accolades or where she got her training and whatnot. And there is not just the factor of the fact that she obviously was not looking into other projects, and who knows what the details are behind that, whether she was able to seek other work, who knows.
That's just it.
But the other very and I have to be careful with this word, suspicious thing about this is, why did she wait? We've known that this game was coming for a year. Why did she wait 2 weeks before release?
So, an answer to that, and I have to thank a mutual of ours for this explanation.
Mm-hmm.
They were under the assumption that Helena was still on an NDA,
Hmm.
which seems weird because, like, for us laymen's, like, we wouldn't think an NDA would be existing like past the fact.
Right.
But according to our mutual, they had worked on one game, and they were on an NDA 3 years after the fact.
Ah.
So it could have been she was still in the NDA for Bayonetta 2.
It could have.
then
Yeah. It
and
could have
then
been. Yeah.
yeah, and then with the contract for Bayonetta 3, while still under NDA, still under contract,
Mhm.
she couldn't say anything until it lapsed this year.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I do recall she actually said in her video that, if this breaks an NDA, I don't care. So she could have still been under an NDA when that video was made, which, if it was, could place her in some very hot water, because NDAs, especially in the video gaming industry, NDAs are not to be trifled with. Like,
No.
you break it, they can clean you out.
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
very, very badly. And I've seen other takes as well, people that have been in support of Miss Taylor, which, again, to each their own. But I've seen people saying that, oh, well, now that, this has been brought to light, and some people even speculate that Nintendo shut down Mr. Kamiya's Twitter account. I don't know about that. I think Mr. Kamiya just got too ban happy on Twitter, and Twitter picked him up and thought he was a bot and went, up, snipe.
Well, and to laugh at that too, it's like when you made the video about the situation first and played on the beware my rules thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm like, okay, what rules are you talking about? And then someone was talking about him and the fact that he got canceled. Well, he got self-canceled.
Self-canceled, yeah, self-canceled.
They looked at the first tweet he ever posted, and yeah, he has rules.
So there are actual legit rules that Mr. Kamiya has on his, or had on his Twitter.
Yes.
I see.
A couple of them were, and I quote, if you repost or tweet to me in English, you're banned or blocked.
Well, that's racist.
If you retweet it to me, you're blocked.
Oh.
And if you ask for advice, you're blocked.
Wow. Okay, so no speak English, no retweet, and don't at him or don't DM him. Wow.
And these are the 3 of the 8 rules I remember.
3 of the 8. Pay tribute lest ye traverse upon these grounds.
Well, and then as soon as I saw those, I was like, that's right. He was the guy people actually sped run to see how fast they could be blocked.
Oh, that's right. He was the guy.
Yes, that was the guy.
That was the guy. Wow. That was the guy. That was the guy. One arm in the chat even said, "What? Don't ask about Metal Gear Revengeance or Bayonetta 2."
Yep.
Okay, so I think the word we're looking for is insecure. That seems to be the word of to perfectly describe the man. Maybe also we could tack on unhinged. So
just a wee bit.
Just a wee bit, but apparently you can self-cancel, and apparently that's what happened. But I like I said in my video, I don't ever tell somebody when it comes to nature of boycotts or you should boycott this, because I have to say, historically speaking, boycotts very rarely work. They very, very rarely work. And people that have also said, well, you can't boycott this because then the dev team is not going to get paid. And the thing is, that's not how that works, guys. The dev team has been paid. They are hourly wage, salary paid employees at these companies, and it's not like you get no money until the game is done. That's not how this works, which is why, again, calling on the opposite side of that, if you boycott it, then they're not going to pay. That's ridiculous. That's not how that works, and very, very a very bad case of misinformation on that part as well.
And even then, I think it's premature to also put Nintendo as a blamer on this, because as far as I know, they are just a publisher. They might have burdened the cost for some things of Bayonetta, but they are just the distributor of the product. It's basically yelling at 7-Eleven because of something Hostess did. Exactly.
Like, Nintendo does not say, we want this. Basically, a publisher says to a dev team, here's the money. Now it's up to you to distribute it, to make this game, to make us money. Like that's usually 9 times out of 10 how a publishing company works. Now, if shit like this happens, a publisher can step in and be like, okay, what's going on? Because their name is obviously attached to it, which in the long run, it can make Nintendo look bad. Now, is Nintendo probably going to do anything? Well, now that pre-orders have skyrocketed, probably not.
Yeah, no.
They're probably not going to do anything about it, and they could possibly be hoping that this entire situation just kind of scoots under the rug and everybody just kind of moves on and forgets about it. But especially by all those people especially a lot of big dog content creators that have screamed for boycotts, and people with sense have been like, man, you still gonna buy it?
Well, yeah. I mean, shoot, how many times have we seen Pokemon get dragged under the rug? And like,
every time. It's like Pokemon. Every time. Every time a new Pokemon game comes out, don't buy this. I'm not buying this. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
Look at Sword and Shield's trees. Like, it looks so crappy. It's so like previous gen. Don't get it. Like,
oh my lord. Yeah, no national decks. There's no national decks.
No national decks.
God.
Oh my god.
Yeah, or they are like they called for a ban on like Overwatch 2 or boycott Overwatch 2, and now the player base is higher than Overwatch 1's was at launch, and it's like, well, that worked. I mean, like I said, boycotts are a very tricky thing. Rarely ever do they work, and especially. It didn't help Miss Taylor's case for the fact that, again, she threw Jennifer Hale under the bus. And some people have disagreed on that, but I'm like, I don't know. Her statements came off as very, in that regard, very entitled. And also, again, like you said, there was a big discrepancy in her work history compared to Miss Hale's, which who knows what the details are behind that and why there's such a big discrepancy. But also, a lot of it, as time has gone by, a lot of it has felt very entitled, with the fact that everybody can agree, yeah, $4,000, that's bullshit, especially for a $60 game that they're going to make millions on.
But see, that's where I'd have to. I kind of want to see some of the takings Jennifer Hill has done,
Mm-hmm.
because there was a small title that I love to death still. It's called The Long Dark, and
Okay.
it's the first game of a little indie dev company. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But they were basically just making their funding through uh, Kickstarter. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And she at the not only did they have Jennifer Hill on there, female shepherd for you guys,
Mm-hmm.
and I only say this because I forget male shepherd's voice actor name, but
Oh.
they had him as the male counterpart for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't imagine that little indie dev company giving as much money to them. Like, we can honestly agree those two probably deserve like $100,000. Like,
Yeah.
easy.
Yeah.
But a company like that, I couldn't see anything more than 5,000. Hinterland, thank you.
Hinterland Studio. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine Hinterland giving more than what they could.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
it's really hard to say.
It is hard to say. Like, could Platinum have probably given her more? Yes, especially because the Bayonetta franchise has made at least over $450 million, not counting merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
And because their publisher is the big dog, Nintendo, who's got money.
Exactly.
So, but again, publishers 9 times out of 10 don't pick their voice actors. The development team does. So
Exactly.
it's not Nintendo's fault, in my opinion, unless it comes out, it straight up says Nintendo did not want her. Unless for some reason, Sega is also not to blame for this as well, because Sega does not. Sega only has the publishing rights on Bayonetta 1 and 2. They do not have the publishing rights on Bayonetta 3, and they only have the ownership of certain IPs under Platinum that they have done in the past, but not all of them. For example, them saying that, oh, this is Sega's fault is like saying, well, it can't be their fault because Sega also had nothing to do with, a lot of the other stuff that Platinum has done in the past either. So Sega is not to blame for this as well. So in closing, again, attempted boycott. Looks like it backfired. Most people that I've seen are like, look, I feel bad for you, but I'm not boycotting the game. I want this game, and people are going to buy what they're going to buy, and it is what it is. So I am looking forward to seeing if other details do come out about this situation, because, again, there's 2 sides to every story, and we have still yet to hear Platinum's side of this. Mr. Kamiya's self-cancellation aside.
Probably won't hear anything from him for a bit.
Probably not. So with that being said, let's move on to our next topic of the night. And, if Twitch hadn't been out of the news yet, they're right back into it, guys. So,
oh boy.
Then here we go. Right back into it with Twitch here. So a lot of people are feeling like this is Twitch's answer to there hasn't been a tsunami of this yet, but there is a small fraction of momentum of where content creators that were on Twitch are leaving the platform and going to YouTube, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that it is nowhere near as difficult to get into the YouTube partner program as it is to get into the Twitch partner program. It's nowhere near as tough. Like with YouTube, you have to have a certain amount of hours viewed and at least 1,000 subs. And in this day and age with, smartphones, short form content and things like that, literally it can be done. Like literally anybody can do this now. It's nowhere near as hard as it used to be, especially not when I first got brought into the partner program back in 2016. And so there has been an outcry against Twitch for their their revenue situation, which is a 50-50 revenue split, which anybody can agree is horseshit. Whereas
Yes.
the YouTube partner program offers 70/30, which is far more attractive. There's even other platforms that offer the same as well. So instead of saying 70/30 for all affiliates and partners, they said after you reach a $100,000 threshold, and not once a year, permanently, Twitch has said once you have hit $100,000 on a lifetime payout in total, you will no longer receive 70/30 and you will be stuck at 50/50. Now, big dog content creators, that's who make thousands, it hurts them the most. But then you look at content creators that have been there for a while and their revenue number is starting to pick up. Now, I'll use myself as an example. And I don't mind sharing this information, but I wanted to see how close was I to $100,000 lifetime made on Twitch. And I looked at it and I was only about $50,000 off, which means $50,000 more, which I'm very grateful for, by the way. Thank you all for that support. But $50,000 more, and I never would have been able to get the 70/30 revenue split with Twitch, even if I had made partner.
Wow.
Yeah. Big wow. Big wow. So makes me feel better about coming over here.
Well, it's so dumb too, because I don't know how much you're making yearly, but if someone was only capping at $10,000 a year, after 10 years, if they never saw that growth, well, now all of a sudden their revenues is completely shut down. It boggles the mind.
Yeah. Well, then you look at guys like the gentleman Kai over Twitch, who's the most subscribed gentleman on Twitch right now. Over 100,000 subscribers he has now, and he probably made Twitch a cool $1 million, and he'll only see half of that, which is just, again, that's BS. Congrats to him for making that number. That is admirable, for that much effort he's put into his work, and it's obviously paid off, but he'll only see half of that, which is completely unfair. And I understand that Twitch has to make a profit, and people have said, they're attached to Amazon, and I will say, just because you're attached to Amazon doesn't mean you have all the money in the world. I understand that, and it's silly to think that, although it's okay, come on now. So we understand that Twitch does have to make a profit, and so their solution to that is just telling the content creators, just run more ads. That's how you'll get more revenue, and that's how we'll also get more money in our pockets. And what they've done is they are now starting a Twitch ad incentive, where basically it is this right here. If you run, and the incentive amount varies, if you run a certain amount of ads on it for a certain amount of time, which is 8 to 10 minutes per hour, we will give you this much money. And I have seen amounts vary from $300, $500, all the way up to 14 grand, 50 grand, depending on your viewership numbers, things like that. And it's not being extended to everybody. But just the fact that their answer to so much of what has been happening is just run more ads. And the thing is, and it's already been very much discussed within, the people that watch Twitch, they already don't like the consistency of ads that are on there. But just knowing that 10 minutes every hour in the middle of the stream, it's going to get interrupted by an ad, just because, and it's hard to say no to that money, especially if it's big dog 5 digits, money. It's hard to say no to that. And
that being said, Twitch, we went to you in the first place because we were trying to get away from traditional media, trying to get away from the multiple ads.
Yes, which Maximilian made a point. He said, if they were brought it up in his stream the other night, and he said, do you think it's going to be any better on YouTube? And honestly, yes, it actually kind of is better on YouTube, and here's why. For one, if an ad pops up, it's usually at the beginning. And if an ad pops up in the middle, does it interrupt the stream? Yes, but there's a handy-dandy rewind function, DVR function on YouTube, so it's not as bad. you know? And, I mean, so I hate to say it, but Maximilian was not completely correct in that regard. But I also understand the fact that while I respect Maximilian Dude very much, and he's been one of my inspirations over the years, I also understand this fact as well. He is a very high revenue making Twitch partner over on Twitch. So I think it also comes down to being careful about speaking ill of the platform as well. But I have to say, he is not completely correct in that regard. And people even said on his Twitter, actually, it kind of is, So, but he has made his own corner of Twitch over there, where he's kind of disengaged from so much of the happenings on Twitch and the big things and drama things and whatnot. And he's earned every bit of his success. But I think everybody can kind of agree, 8 to 10 ads every hour, and you must do this every hour that you stream. That's too much. That's too much.
Now, when you were telling me about it before, I was kind of thinking to myself, can you place the ads, or are they random or intermittent?
You have the choice of choosing when to place ads.
Okay.
So there is that. YouTube has this function as well, where you can kind of place it given a certain time frame, not to the extent Twitch has. But Twitch does have a thing where you can place it after a certain time interval, so you can basically time it. It's just, again, it's like the big thing that comes down to it is with all of these things, and people have spoken out about against Twitch and how they don't agree with their decisions. They don't like the fact that they're taking away the 70-30 ad revenue split. Their answer is just run more ads. More ads. More ads.
To which, of course, we know that means more ads for us is more ads for them and more revenue for them as well.
Exactly. AKA make us more money. Make us more money, because it doesn't look like they're going to be getting rid of the 50-50 revenue split anytime soon. It just doesn't look like they are. So,
But see, in that case, if I was the exec for Twitch, if we were gonna go down that route and have them do the ads, keep the 50-50, I would at least let them keep 100% of their tips.
Agreed. I agree. Yeah, like bits, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I can get it with splitting a sub maybe, but bits, the creators should get 100% of that, because it literally all it is just, here's some bits for a badge, which it's cool. I mean, it's a great way to support it, but you're not getting much for it.
No, you're not.
So I don't know. It's still and they said and like Born96 said in the chat here, they talked about the 50-50 a bit during TwitchCon. They said they will talk about that in the future. Why not now? Because they don't want to talk about it now.
No.
Because
they want to get as much as this as possible, and if it becomes more of a problem that they keep losing their money pigs, then they will talk about it later.
Yeah, and it's not like these big dog Twitch streamers that are speaking out about it. I will say this, I mean, bully for them, but also they're not going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. They're making big dog money, unless something like YouTube approached them and said, "Hey, we'll pay you this," which has happened. So I mean, and they'll make the financial decisions that are best for them. So yeah, that's it. They don't ever want to talk about it. It's why they said later. Exactly. They don't want to talk about it.
Exactly.
So what's Twitch gonna do next? Who the hell knows? But I will say, this next topic is, we didn't hear much about it for a while, and then out of nowhere, G4TV died.
Hats off in chat.
Hats off in chat for G4TV. Comcast has decided to take it out back. hit it on the head with the shovel and toss it in the creek. G4 TV has gone the way of the dodo, and it was very abrupt and very, very much came out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you that don't know, and Khan, correct me on the parts that I'm wrong here, G4 TV goes back to what, 2002? Like, it goes 2002, something like that. 2002, 2012, something like that.
I honestly don't know.
I know it was around for a very long time, back in the day, because it was just a.
You're actually correct.
Am I?
Launched April 24th, 2002.
2002. Wow. Yeah. So Spartan Mando goes, it dates back to when MTV did music. Yes, MTV still had music. Yes. So yeah, it was a channel that was basically dedicated to, for the most part, video gaming and things like that. And one of their big dogs being X-Play, American Ninja Warrior, things like that. Like and icons, like they had, all kinds of different. Attack of the Show was another really big one that they had. So it was a very big deal. It was very popular. And then it just it got shut down. I want to say around they ceased its program. I want to say around 2012, and then they relaunched about a year ago. And and they brought in all kinds of big names. Like they brought in I believe Scott the Wise. They also brought in Xavier Woods, WWE wrestler Xavier Woods. Yes. Was also involved in a program on there as well. And just out of nowhere, the guys over at Comcast Spectator Chairman and CEO Dave Scott penned a letter to all their employees saying G4 is being discontinued immediately. So just, you're done. Bye. No explanation. You're done. Bye. So
very abrupt.
Very abrupt. Yeah, very abrupt. No heads up. Just, it's gone. We're done. Bye. And the details to why are kind of scarce. They're honestly kind of scarce.
The only theory I've heard thus far was a contributor called Frosk, I think is the name. She kind of went off on a basically feminist tirade on the live program.
Okay.
And from there, I guess things declined, and then that's when we see the abrupt.
So they got a little too what's the phrase? Personal?
They got a little too Anita Sarkeesian.
Anita Sarkeesian. I got a little too Anita Sarkeesian. Yes, that.
Yes.
That is for those of you that don't know Anita Sarkeesian. First of all, where have you been? Where have you been? Second of all, that is a whole jar of holy crap right there. I tell you what.
And I will preface my comparison by saying, I do agree that there is a lot of blatant sexism and a lot of inequality in any industry in the world.
Yes.
It's best not to air the dirty laundry on live air, because that doesn't do anyone any favors.
No, it really truly doesn't. And I have to use a wrestling comparison here. To a similar situation, the night after the Montreal Screwjob. For those of you that don't know, the Montreal Screwjob is a very infamous moment in pro wrestling history, where there was a lot of backstage drama between wrestlers Shawn Michaels and Bret the Hitman Hart. Bret Hart's contract was going to be up with WWF, and he was going to go to WCW. Problem was, Bret Hart was also the current world champion of the WWF, and they had talked about similar situations of like Brett dropping the belt in Canada, and Brett didn't want to drop the belt in Canada because that's his home country. And they talked about dropping the belt beforehand, and Brett's like, well, no, then I go into the pay-per-view in Canada with no belt, and then I lose in front of my home people. So it was a big giant mess. They couldn't come to a conclusion. They get into the match, and they had apparently worked out a finish, and then Shawn Michaels slaps on Bret Hart's finisher, the sharpshooter, and does not let go. Brett was supposed to grab the foot and roll him off and flip him over and put him in the sharpshooter, and that was supposed to be the call. Well, Shawn didn't do the maneuver correctly and purposefully held Brett in the submission hold, and the referee just called for the belt out of nowhere with Vince McMahon by Vince McMahon's direction, and so they screwed him out of the belt. They got it on Shawn, and this was not a kayfabe thing. This was real. Bret Hart next day, after he left, went on the public radio in Canada, airing all of the dirty laundry, and Jim Cornette said, "You don't do that, especially you don't do that and expose the business immediately after something big goes down like that. You just don't."
Probably the only time anyone could agree with Jim Cornette.
Probably, And, again, it's just like, which I understand, if there is injustice happening or terrible things happening in workspace, obviously try the proper channels. And if the proper channels are not working, then it's time to seek legal counsel. That's all usually not. And I know everyone's situation is different. And of course, it goes into, people afraid to speak up on things either because of intimidation or other factors beyond their control. All of that is understood, but it does not do any favors to, like in that lady's case right there, basically saying, if you don't like it, don't watch. And apparently people listened.
And then people in the chat are like, well, I wonder how long it'll be until they bring it back. Honestly, and this is just coming from me that has never watched the product.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly don't think we need one.
I don't think we need one either. Someone in the chat also said it feels like it's a product of a bygone era, know, especially because more and more people, and I think if they were trying to bring it back as a streaming network, it's just things like that are just, it's kind of like machinima. It's like, it's a thing of a bygone era that, at one time was such a big presence in the world, and then either failure to adapt or just the product it had was just no longer of any interest. It died out. It's kind of like Blockbuster. Blockbuster died because of failure to adapt, Like that's completely the reason why Blockbuster died, was because they failed to adapt.
Well, and then G4's basically birth stemmed from how video games were just blowing up in the 90s, and you would have gaming shows, Electric Playground with Tommy and his friend, and like you would get those shows, you get those newsletters, and it was like the logical conclusion would be like, well, why not just make a TV channel out of it? But the thing is, with the internet as it is right now, we've heard stories about like Bayonetta 3. We've heard stories about Splatoon 3 or whatever. We don't really need a TV channel to give us those news anymore.
Exactly. Like, especially with the growing frequency of people cutting the cable cord, Like,
exactly.
People just don't, more people in 2022 don't have cable just because there's kind of no point to it. And even then, if you want the cable TV experience, there are things that you can do that with. Like, there are streaming services that basically show the TV networks and their commercials and all of that. So, they like, but even then, you do not need cable TV to do so. And honestly, and I think the biggest reason why so many companies like Comcast will not quit cable, and basically they don't cut it because they have networks paying them big loads of money to continue to have it. It's one of the main reasons why programs like, well, I'll use wrestling again, WWE, Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, they won't get off cable because they were paid multi-million-dollar contracts by Fox and in the past USA and things like that. Like, if you were offered $50 million to put your show on USA on Friday nights, well, yeah, you're going to do it.
Well, of course.
Well, yeah, you're going to do it. So, but I think really the biggest dickus way that that all of this came about was the fact that the employees of G4 or the content creators of G4TV, they did not know about this until the letter was tweeted out by other people. Like, the completionist. He did not know he lost his job at G4TV until somebody tweeted about it. So they completely failed to tell their own employees and content creators of, oh, by the way, guys, we're shutting it down. Yeah.
Imagine going to work one day trying to use your key to get into the store, only to realize the lock has been changed, and there's a full closure notice on the door.
Yeah. Yeah, and also the building has been burned down.
Yeah.
It's gone. Like,
when did this happen?
Yeah, basically the employees got ghosted. They got ghosted hard. Even Xavier Woods, he posted, he said, well, I was on a plane this morning, had a great night, and I look on Twitter and he had no idea. So they didn't even tell their content creators and employees that this is over, which is just like, who do you blame for that one? Do you blame G4? Do you blame Comcast? I mean, who do you blame for that one? It's kind of hard to say.
Kind of hard to say, yeah.
It's kind of hard to say. I think there's an umbrella of blame that goes with that one. I think there's a massive, but especially it sucks because a guy like the completionist has been around a long time. Like
super long time.
And like he has made some amazing content. If you've never seen him, definitely go check out the completionist on YouTube. Like his videos are basically all about this is how to 100% said game that he's showcasing. And I mean, it's his editing and the way he showcases it is very, very good. And like I said, he's been doing this for a long time. So I'm just like, wait, so you know, it ghosted your employees, but you ghosted the completionist, one of the big dogs of YouTube. Nice, guys.
Yeah. Very good job, guys.
Nice. Good job, idiots. Idiots.
That being said, with the completionist, what dedication to have an intro, my God.
That's true. That's true.
To go from clean shaven to full on beard.
That's true.
Just for an intro?
Just for an intro. That is that if that's not dedication to your product, I will. I mean, I shaved my beard off one time because of donations, and I'm never doing that again. I'm just like, nope, not doing that again. The beard stays. Get over it. I'm not doing that again. Oh my God. So so yeah, the rest, so rip G4, and well, maybe it's for the best, because like we said, it's kind of a thing. It's kind of a thing that just kind of feels like it's just out of place and out of time nowadays.
So the moral of these three stories, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, don't be an asshole.
Yeah, really, just don't be an asshole. Like, for real, like, just don't be an asshole. Like, a lot of this comes down to being a dick. It really is.
It really does, yeah.
And but those were our main topics we were gonna talk about today and whatnot. And here's just some little snippets here. Apparently, well, no, not apparently, but Jason Voorhees actor Ted White has died at the age of 96. Yeah, the OG Jason Voorhees has passed away, guys and girls. So
God rest his soul.
God rest his soul, indeed. Tell you what, one of the big dogs of horror movies. Not just horror movies, but campy horror movies. Oh, the Jason movies are good camp. They really are. They're good camp. They got a little stupid later on, but they're good camp.
Good old Jason in space.
Jason in space. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, and if you've never heard of Jason X, look it up. It's Jason Voorhees in space. Apparently Netflix is rolling out a profile transfer and account sharing crackdown. So sorry guys, no more account sharing on Netflix. They're gonna send their Netflix ninjas after you.
I mean, that works out for me, but yeah.
True, it does work out for you. It does work out for you. Apparently, who remembers this? You will not remember this unless you were a child of the 90s. You remember that movie Twisters?
Yes.
That terrible movie, Twisters.
Yes, I do.
The tornadoes are alive, apparently. And they can be studied like dinosaurs or something. I don't know.
Guys, there's a cow.
It's like they took Twisters and tried to play it into the same vein of Jurassic Park or something of like, oh my God, they do twist in herds or something like that. It's getting a sequel, apparently.
What else can a Twister do?
I don't know.
Wait.
No.
No, technically we've had a Twister too. It's called Sharknado.
That's true. We did have Sharknado. Yeah, apparently. Yeah, it was apparently Steven Spielberg was so impressed by the Twister script from the Revenant writer Mark L. Smith. Apparently this has fast-tracked the fact that they're going to do a sequel and Steven Spielberg is going to be behind it.
Honestly, I'd like to see where this goes now.
You know what? I kind of want to see it now. I kind of want to see it now.
I've got some stats for you, KB.
Oh, please do.
So, I'm a huge fan of Cyberpunk 2077.
Naturally.
It's a fun game. Has a good ending. 10 out of 10. Would play again. Probably will when the expansion comes out.
Oh.
Here is what's been happening the past 3 months, and you can probably understand why.
Okay.
According to SteamCharts.com, August 2022, average players 10,411, peak players 18,695. September 2022, average players 43,297.
Holy shit!
Peak players 36,724.
Holy shit!
As of the last 30 days, average players 69,322.
That is the power of good anime.
That is the power of good anime.
And it also helps that a lot of the shit that bogged Cyberpunk down at the beginning has been fixed. Mm-hmm. Thank God. A lot of it has been fixed now. And everybody agreed, Cyberpunk, even when it launched, it had some problems. It did have some bad problems. It did.
It had some bad problems.
Yeah, and I mean, to the point that Sony even had to take it off the PlayStation Store because it was so bad. And so I mean, not to say that some people would be like, "See, it was always good." It's like nobody denied it was good. Everybody just it was just broken. Like it didn't work damn time.
Like when you bug worse than a Bethesda launch, yeah. Yeah.
And you know what? I think when you bug worse than a Bethesda launch, I think that is a state of being now. Don't bug worse than a Bethesda launch. And they did, and they did, and I honestly thought, I was like, ain't no way something will bug harder than Fallout 76 did at launch. Apparently, I was wrong.
I don't know, like 70. At least with Cyberpunk 2077.
True.
Accounts weren't leaked to other people.
That's very true. That is the I guess the beauty of being a single player. Plus they weren't trying to sell collector's helms that would grow mold and literally try to kill you.
Oh god.
God, oh my God, or God, Fallout 76. What a mess.
What a mess.
What an absolute shit show. It has been confirmed also on Thursday, everyone, that there will be a Resident Evil showcase, which will include new Resident Evil 4 remake information.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. So I'm just like, ooh, gameplay, please. Let us get some gameplay, please. And other than that, I can't really think of anything else to speak of. How about you?
Nah, I'm pretty good here.
I'm pretty all right. Cool. All right.
This was a good test run.
This was a good test run. I think we'll do this every week. What do you say?
I will definitely have a reason not to go to work on Mondays.
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me. All right. Well, that this was our first test run of getting the podcast going again, and definitely felt better having a voice to bounce stuff off of. So you can expect me and Con on the weekly with the podcast and whatnot. And like the Nightbot said, if you haven't, hit that like button, smash the subscribe, can't talk. Smash the subscribe button, click the bell, all that good stuff. We thank y'all for joining us tonight. KB and Con signing off. Have a good night. Take care and stay shway, baby.